Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Massoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journeys, encouraging folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Join us as we explore the journeys of women entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry. Hello and welcome to Massoni and Marshall, the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Massoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just got back from a summit over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
How was that?
It was great. It was the Intertribal Food Sovereignty Summit.
It looked really fun. You were posting some...
It got a little crazy.
Yeah, some different things. It seemed like a good time. What was your favorite thing that you discovered?
I mean, I like learning about the first foods. So we all have first foods from our heritage that we would traditionally eat, the terroir of our ancestors. And I think some of us should be in touch with that. It might feel better eating foods that our bodies, may have originally eaten. So for me, that would be spaghetti. No, no, actually, that's not true. But yeah, pasta. No more pasta. In Oregon, we have things like hazelnuts and huckleberries and wild mushrooms and spruce tips and things like that can be foraged and found and eaten. And I think adding some of that into your pantry is a good choice. And then we got to go to a concert. They had a Queen guy there. They went through all the songs. The crowd went crazy. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a good time.
Lots of fancy dancing and drumming and singing and celebrating and learning about food. It was great.
Very cool. Well, and I think a lot of those ingredients that you were talking about, I know sometimes people are apprehensive about foraging because they just don't know what they're finding, and that's totally fine. But you can get almost all of those things at the farmer's market. So
exactly, let someone else do the foraging for you.
Let the experts guide you, but connect to food that is local to the region. I think that seems like really good.
That's really good advice, Sarah.
Yeah. I am headed to Portland, Maine this weekend. I've never been.
What are you going to do there? Stay in a cabin?
No, my best friend from childhood lives there, and so I'm going to visit her. And so I'm flying from Portland to Portland, which is very confusing because my tickets just say Portland to Portland to Portland, Portland.
That's confusing.
But I'm excited.
You have to stop somewhere on the way?
New York, but yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and I'm going to discover some new foods, and I'll post about it, and I'm sure I'll find lots of fun businesses to post about as well. So stay tuned.
Gonna bring your mini sauce bottles with you?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Bring a big bag.
I'll bring a bag. I'll bring my raincoat because it's cold and rainy, and I will eat all things Maine. I'm sure
maybe you can do a polar bear plunge there. They sound like, I think they do stuff like that.
Yeah, my friend is into that. So I don't know.
Bring your bathing suit.
She likes to do the cold plunging and then go into a sauna.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to just do a sauna.
Once you get really hot in the sauna, you get really invigorated and you want to go jump in the lake. Trust me, I've done it.
Well, I'll keep you posted if I do it or not.
Okay. You got me on that quick call thing if you need support.
Perfect. Yeah, you can be my backup.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we want to thank our sponsor for supporting Massoni and Marshall. Thank you for helping us to spread the word about entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. So we're not alone today. We're joined in the studio by Donna Parker, the owner of Blondy's Baked Goods, making paleo-friendly baked goods in the Nashville area. Welcome, Donna.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's great to see you.
It's good
so
to see
great to
you.
see you both again.
We're so glad to have you back on the show. I can't wait to catch up about all the things since the last time that you were on.
Yeah,
So,
maybe saw famous people.
yeah, maybe. Maybe. You were on the show last in March of 2021. So episode 66, if we have any aspiring bakers out there who want to hear about Donna's beginning, you can look up that old episode. But we also want our listeners to be able to find you. So what's the best way for them to find you on Instagram and online?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Blondy's Baked Goods with a Y. So not an IE, but with a Y. And then website is blondiesbakedgoods.com.
Perfect. We'll make sure to connect people to you there. So I know that a big change since we talked to you last is that when we talked to you before, you weren't based in Nashville.
Yeah, I was in the Portland metro area. I grew up in Oregon, and so it was a big move and leap of faith to move my son and I to the Nashville, Tennessee area. And it's been a lot of fun, but I restarted my business. It felt pretty much from scratch. And so it's been a whole new journey starting Blondy's back up here.
That's good to hear.
We have people that relocate or are thinking about relocating and have businesses. So can you just talk a little bit about what that process was like for you and give any advice to people that might be considering moving to a new state?
Yeah. So at first, I really wasn't sure if I was going to keep Blondy's up and going. When I left Oregon, I was doing really well. I was in all of the market of choices in the area. So a grocery train across Oregon, probably about 20 different coffee shops in the Portland metro area. I kept Blondy's alive during COVID. And it was going really well, but felt this call to leave Oregon and to go to Nashville. And so I brought everything with me, wanting to keep this sweet little dream of mine going, but not really sure exactly what that would look like. I also have a career background of being an esthetician. So I've been in the beauty industry for 15 years. So I've always had both of them going at the same time. This is actually my 5th year having Blondy's. And so at first, I really didn't think I would keep it going. It was a lot to have a food business. But that same burning heart, passion, and desire that I had in Oregon for providing healthy, allergy-friendly, delicious baked goods really came back to life for me here. And so I went all in and dove into it again. And in January of this year, took another huge leap of faith and decided to walk away from my career as an esthetician and dive all in to this business and just give it its best chance. It's really hard wearing multiple hats. I'm also a full-time single mom. And so I have that layer as well. And Blondy's really always got put on the back burner, and I would give it a little love. And then my, esthetician came first because it's what always brought in money. But I was very spoiled in the Portland metro area. As you two know, it's a huge foodie place. There's a lot of people who know and love paleo and gluten-free and dairy-free. And out here, and I'm not in Nashville, I'm about 40 minutes south of Nashville. So I'm in a smaller town called Columbia. I'm right next to Spring Hill in Columbia. So very same to like Lake Oswego, Westland.
Okay.
And almost like same distance in a sense, but much smaller country town. And with so many people coming from the West Coast to the Tennessee area, and this area in particular, there's more of a need for allergy-friendly options. And the one gluten-free bakery we had in the area, unfortunately, closed down. And so there's really no gluten-free bakeries in the area. So again, I was like, oh man, I did this in Portland. And I feel like if you can do a decent job there, you could do a decent job here. And so I got it up and going again. And it's been a little different. Do you have an
actual bakery, or are you working from your home?
I'm working from my home, and Tennessee's really wonderful in regards to cottage law. Nice. They're not as strict as Oregon, but I still went through having my LLC, being insured. I have a county permit. I have a city permit. So still making sure I have all of my ducks in a row for having the business, but right now it's out of the house. It's easier to manage that way. And then we'll just see if it keeps growing.
I always think that you should do it if you can from your home, as long as you can, because it makes it a little bit easier to work out all of the kinks, and you don't have that overhead cost and pressure of renting a space or sharing a space. So I'm glad you figured out how to do it. Sarah and I have been we kind of opened up to the podcast to multi-regions. And so we're both learning a lot about how other states work and how the cottage laws work there, and just manufacturing practices. It's so different from state to state. We only really know about Oregon and sometimes California because I spend a lot of time with food people down there. But we're learning all the differences between. We were just on the line with some people from Wyoming, and I like that there's some ways that make it so people can do it easier at home, because I think it's really nice. It's a nice way to start.
Yeah.
And if you can maintain it, I mean, my advice is maintain it that way forever.
As long as possible.
Yeah, because you'll probably make more income doing it that way than you will by opening it up.
I noticed you're like baking stuff and delivering it to people, so it's probably easier to do that at 10 o'clock at night out of your house.
Yeah, it is. Well, and having my son, and I went on a wild journey too of homeschooling. So I've lost my mind, but I'm trying to do it all. And it's just a lot easier for me to have all of that at home. I do enjoy having a commercial kitchen though. And I did things a little backwards because like in Oregon, I started off right away as a wholesaler. So I went right into a commercial kitchen, right into wholesaling. And so when I started things here, I had that same process. And so I actually sought out a commercial kitchen and started going through the same process of like, okay, I'm going to be a wholesaler and I'll be in the kitchen. And then learned that the laws were so much different here and they were more lenient. And even with what I do with the baked goods and baking mixes, that's a fun new launch I did, but I can also be a retailer too. So, or I'm sorry, a wholesaler. So I can still cater to our cafes and restaurants in the area. So knowing that, I was like, okay, let me just like not stress myself out. Yeah, take a step back here and go this direction out of the house and then build up to commercial kitchen. So
good idea.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad that you figured out how to get things going there. I did notice that you had some new baking mixes, so let's tell people about them.
Yeah, a lot of people will come to me and ask me about how to eat dairy-free, gluten-free, and then they're very overwhelmed in what that looks like, some of the specialty ingredients that are involved. And so it really inspired me to create baking mixes. So I took my original paleo chocolate chip cookies and turned them into a mix, and then launched with a Blondy brownie. into a mix as well. It's been a really fun educational way to just talk about getting your feet wet baking with allergies, and that it's not so overwhelming. And I really take all of the guesswork out of it for you, because I blend all of the ingredients in a way that all you need then is coconut oil, vanilla, and an egg, or you could do flax eggs. So that's been fun too, because then I've been able to cater to people who are vegan. So I'm really enjoying those mixes. It's been really fun to be in a different market in that sense, because then I'm in some really fun specialty home stores that offer different types of like specialty kitchenware and things like that. So I'm a part of their baking section.
That's really nice. I noticed from your Instagram, I saw some pictures of your mixes in shops, and it fits right in and it looks really cute. And then, the nice thing about that, as opposed to a baked product that you make, is that the shelf life is longer. So it can be in that store for, some time, or you can make a bunch and have them on hand. So everything doesn't have to be so quick turnaround.
Can you tell the listeners about allergy-friendly baking mixes? What do you mean by allergy-friendly baking mixes?
So gluten-free, dairy-free, no soy. And then you have the option of adding an egg or doing a flax egg. And so if you struggle with any type of food allergy, my goal is to try to address almost all of those allergies. And then with my brownie mix, I now can take care of nut allergies. So I don't have, that's with a cassava flour blend instead of almond flour, like my chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, nice. That's so great. I don't think I know what a flax egg is. Can you tell me what that is?
Yeah. So it's going to be the easiest way to replicate having an actual egg in a baked good. So you're just going to blend up or buy flax meal, and you mix it with water. So like 1 tablespoon of flax meal to 3 tablespoons of water is going to be the equivalent of 1 egg.
Yes.
So for those of you who can't have eggs and you enjoy having baked goods, that's a really easy substitution.
I agree. I use that all the time.
It actually tastes really good, and I don't notice the difference.
I stopped eating eggs.
We were just talking about flax seeds and how they, are so good for women over 40, especially. And so, this is the second time, Sarah, we've talked about flax seeds. I need to get on this flaxseed train here.
Stop by Bob's Red Mill.
Yes. So I just started using their egg replacer.
What do you think? Do you like it?
Yes, I really like it. I wasn't sure what I was going to think because I'm actually used to just making a flax egg. No, nope. It's so different. It's a little different. I used that in cinnamon rolls that I just started making.
Very fun. Yeah, and I'm sure relocating to Nashville, you have to think about ingredient sourcing in a different way. So do you still get things from here in the Portland area, or do you just source from Nashville area?
No, it's actually really hard
to
source the type of ingredients that I use. Now, if I was just doing traditional gluten and dairy and sugar, it'd be no problem. But because of all of the specialty ingredients that I use, and I'm very intentional about every ingredient, like down to the chocolate chips, they have no soy in them. They're very clean. Ironically, I go through, is it Azure? I always say Azure, but is it?
It's Azure.
Okay, Azure Standard. It's funny, people here call it Azure, and I was like, I think it's Azure. So it cracks me up every time I place an order because I'm like, it's coming from Oregon. So I get majority of my products in bulk from there, and Costco. Costco is still a really great tried and true. It's the cheapest almond flour I can find. Maple syrup is really great there too. So really between those two, I can get almost all of my ingredient needs met. I was so spoiled in Portland though. Because
Are you
if
buying
I was,
wholesale from Costco?
yes.
Nice.
Well, wait, I just do tax exempt.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you mean?
Yeah. So you could
Yeah.
buy a pallet of something from them. I understand they might have one of the lowest cost per pound on sugar, but you don't use sugar, do you?
No, coconut
Yeah.
sugar. And
Coconut
I get
sugar.
it from Azure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, the problem with that though, that I'm finding is if they run out, because I have to wait for a drop ship. So it's like a month, I get to order once a month unless I want to pay this like ridiculous shipping fee.
Mhm.
And so I've run into a couple of times where they won't have like the cassava flour I need or the coconut sugar, and I will have to source it somewhere else.
Mariquin.
Oh, I'll have to connect with you on that. Mariquin. Would that be,
They're in California. They're a
okay.
distributor. I think they have that stuff.
Yeah, but would they ship to the East Coast side?
Probably.
Okay. Because that's been the other thing is I'm like, the West Coast has all of the good
Well, you can
ingredients.
you can do will call and arrange your own freight. So you can go online and arrange freight and have a truck show up to pick up the product. You don't have to have them arrange freight.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother ball of wax. This is such a learning curve. I swear this like work never ends in regards to learning something
Mhm.
new, whether it's labels, the bags that I'm putting the mixes in, packaging
Mhm.
things. There's always something to learn.
Yeah. It's a puzzle for sure.
I think that's the nice thing too, though, about talking to all these different makers, because if we can all learn together and find out ways of packaging, and I think that we are lucky here in this area to have access to a lot of ingredients, but we don't really have things like we don't have very many like co-packer facilities or things like that. Like there's still some things in this area that are lacking. But I think even more so as we move further states away, it gets even harder, I think, for everybody. Well, we're going to take a quick
Yes.
break and we'll come back and we want to hear about the kinds of things you're making for the coffee shops in your area. So we'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. All right, Donna, tell us what types of treats you're delivering to Juice Bar Carruthers, Old Stone Creamery, Just Love Coffee Cafe, and Relva Marketplace.
So I'm doing my original things that I launched with. So chocolate chip pecan. So they're bites. They're like a hybrid of a cookie muffin, almond poppy seed. And so those were really the two things that I had in Oregon. And that was really all I ever had in coffee shops. And I've gotten a lot more creative here. So I now have blueberry lemon in the pop, same bites. So blueberry lemon. In the fall, I'll do pumpkin spice chocolate chip. In the winter, I'll do gingerbread white chocolate. So I've got to make sure I take care of everybody on the seasonal side of things, because coffee shops will be on you and very eager for you to fulfill all of their seasonal needs. And so I will rotate out of all of those flavors. I have a paleo bread that I will make for local restaurant in town that does French toast. So I talked them into using the paleo bread to make French toast. And then another coffee shop here will do like a breakfast egg bacon sandwich with that bread. Brownies. I have Blondy brownies. Those have been a hit in the coffee shops. And then I'm excited about this, but then I feel like I've lost my mind. I just launched cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
And they are a hit. And I don't know how I'm going to keep up with it. I have to like navigate upscaling these cinnamon rolls because a lot of people are excited to have cinnamon rolls and they're selling out. And then I launched it for one restaurant, and then the other places that I work with saw it and then they're asking me. So I'm
You-
excited about it, but it's a big,
Yeah,
it's a lot to upscale.
you
Yeah.
created a supply chain issue for yourself.
I did. And I'm like, how am I I know how to upscale all the other things that I make, but this one is different because of
Does
the
that have
yeast
yeast?
rise.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, otherwise, I just feel like on the gluten-free side of things, it would just be like a flat little hockey puck kind of looking thing. Like, I just don't know if it would be as light and fluffy as I would like it to be. I mean, you're really
Which
good with
flour
this.
is it made with?
It's actually Bob's Red Mill pizza crust, gluten-free pizza crust.
Ooh.
And then I turned it into a cinnamon roll. But it does have a yeast rise with it, but it needs quite a bit of time to rise. And so that's been hard to get them really light and fluffy. It's a lot of time just with them sitting there.
I think you should be able to just scale it up in, and just do it in those big, like plastic, I forget what
Yeah.
they're called. Like it's kind of like it turns into a proofing box. It's like you can get them at restaurant supply stores, but I've seen just from people that I know that are bakers online, they'll just let it rise all at once in the big thing. So you don't have to do a bunch of separate ones. You can still do it in the big proofing container. So I would say
So you
just
can
try a really big batch.
buy a proof box. They're not that much money. It's just you just plug it into the wall, and it has the little rails in it, so you can put one of those big white tubs in, or you could put trays.
Oh,
You can set it at an exact temperature. I think probably the problem is the temperature isn't in your house. You have drafts and all sorts of stuff going on. The summertime, you'll probably be able to make cinnamon rolls really easily, but right now it's cooler.
yes. So what's my trick if I
So-
don't have a proof box yet?
So what I used to do when I would make big batches of cinnamon rolls, I bought this enormous stainless steel bowl, and I filled my sink with hot water, and then I just set that bowl over the hot water with towels over it, and I could raise like 25 pounds of dough at a time. Then I'd pull it out, roll it out, and the second rise usually goes a little bit faster. I know it's hard when you're doing gluten-free because you have to do because the dough is so much softer and cushy.
Yeah, it's just not as light and fluffy and airy.
Yeah.
Would a rapid yeast work better?
I don't know. You just have to try different things. Maybe you could do your own starter or something. Like you could carry over yeast,
Oh,
like
gosh,
sourdough.
That's a whole nother ball of wax. Well, I was trying to dive into the sourdough, the gluten-free sourdough world,
Mhm.
and that's like a whole nother world all in its own. I got to pick a lane.
I made a loaf of bread with some sourdough. No, it wasn't sourdough, just quick yeast in the container like everybody is in the oven, the heavy metal pot. And it turned out great.
Okay.
So
I was wondering if a quick yeast might be a little more
you can get it at the
user-friendly
restaurant
and
supply.
quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Works fast.
Thanks. I'm glad I got to pick your brain on that. But yeah, that is what I'm doing right now. I am also going to be partnering with a local apple orchard. It's one of the only, so there's another thing I'm like, man, I was so spoiled in Oregon. There were apple orchards everywhere, but there was only one in the Middle Tennessee area. And I think the next one is like 2.5 hours away. So they have a very short season. So the summer they do peaches, and then in the fall they do apples. And I'll be partnering with them to do a peach butter cinnamon roll and then an apple butter cinnamon roll in the fall.
Wow.
That's so fun. I love that you're connecting to local people there.
Amazing.
I don't even know what grows in that area. Like what kinds of things do the
Tennessee
farms
is a
have?
great state. It's kind of a long, narrow state. It has a lot of industry there.
A lot of
It's
different
interesting.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so much to still learn.
Yeah.
But I will say that
Call
It-
the State Department of Agriculture or the State University Extension and find out where the agricultural experiment stations are that are doing all the fruit.
Oh, that's a
They'll
good
know where
idea.
everything is.
See, I was really spoiled. I could pick your brain on all of these things. And
Yeah.
now I don't have the equivalent of you over here.
Mm. You
I
can
bet
figure it out.
I bet there's someone hidden in the state that does what Sarah does or something similar.
Yeah. I would
Y'all should
think.
have like an annual meeting or something like that where everybody comes together and
Well, now
collaborates.
there's a
Yeah.
regional food business center. You have to figure out which one Tennessee is in and look on their website for the regional food business center that Tennessee is part of.
Okay.
And they're going to have grant funding opportunities for small businesses that are doing food. And the grants range there. It's different in every state, but it's going to range probably from $1,000 to $50,000, and you can spend it on capital expenditures, which includes equipment, and that's all through the USDA.
Yeah, you
So you
could
should
get
check
your
that out.
proofing boxes and they'd
And a
probably
bigger
help you
mixer and maybe a
Yeah.
different oven and
connect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Even for cottage law, they will do that?
yeah,
Oh, that's incredible. Okay.
yeah, regional food business center.
Yeah, I think after COVID, a lot of state officials realized that they needed to have access to all kinds of food, businesses within the state and without,
Yeah.
transporting. So there's a lot of money that's available, and they're really encouraging people to source things locally. So if you had somebody to assist you with that and tell you where you could get the ingredients you're looking for, because I bet there's a natural food distributor in your area that would be easier than shipping it from Portland, even though I know that you're familiar with Portland, but that's because you were here. But I'm sure there's someone there. Yeah. So just check out that business center and the regional food business center, and I bet you'll find something.
And the State Department of Agriculture is involved in the regional food business center too, and so they might be the people you need to get in touch with.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't even realize that stuff was available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
new.
think it's just something that the states are all working on right now. So
Yeah.
It would be amazing to get some financial support in that capacity because I've done everything cash. Whatever comes in gets put right back in to the business. And so it feels a little overwhelming sometimes to dream a little bigger when I'm operating on that level.
Yeah.
Well, we want to encourage people to order your products from you directly. So how would they do that?
Thank you. I sure appreciate all of that support. blondiesbakedgoods.com. I have my mixes on there, and that's been something that's made it a lot easier for me to be able to ship. It can be a little challenging to ship on the paleo side of things just because it really needs to stay cold. And so I've always felt a little intimidated shipping my baked mixes or my baked goods that way, but the mixes are easy to ship. So
yeah, and for a lot of our listeners that were fans of your product and got it at Market of Choice, well, if now they can't do that anymore, but they could get your baking mixes and make them at home easily, which is nice because you already have that customer base here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't forget the Oregonians.
Yes. No, I would love that. I actually connected with the original coffee shop that encouraged me to launch Blondie's, Willamette Coffee House in Westland. And they got the mixes, and I'm teaching them how to use the mixes and bake chocolate chip cookies at their cafe.
Oh,
So
cool.
they're going to be launching Blondies again, which I'm really excited about. It's just so important for me to feel like our local coffee shops provide gluten and dairy-free baked goods for the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. And then I am expanding in the baking mixes. So I'll have almond poppy soon, mint chip for those of you that love a thin mint. They taste similar to that, but not as crunchy. And then like a sprinkle one with natural sprinkles for kids, something fun. So I'm working on more mixes as well.
Cool. Are you going to do pancakes?
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about pancakes. And now I got to add that. Thanks, Sarah. I got to add that to my list. I feel like there's some great dairy and gluten-free pancake mixes out there, though. It's just finding the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a lot of listeners that are thinking about starting up a business. Do you have any advice for people that are currently dreaming up their next big biz?
Yes, I would say don't try to always be a complete perfectionist about everything. You don't have to have it all figured out. I was very paralyzed with that in the very beginning of dreaming and launching Blondies, and just take a leap of faith, get a lot of feedback. Anytime I'm recipe testing, I have a lot of friends and family that give me lots of honest feedback. Find a mentor. I think finding somebody that is in the food industry that can mentor you and guide you and maybe help you not have to go down so many different rabbit holes would be really helpful as well. But I would just say go for it. If you have something that you love and you're passionate about it and you believe in it, you'll work out the kinks along the way, but just dive in and go for it.
And go slowly.
Yes. Yeah.
No need to rush.
And don't feel like you have to have a whole bunch of products. Like in the very beginning, wanted to offer all of these different baked goods and thought that I couldn't grow a business with just 2 SKUs. And I did. I was really able to grow Blondies in the beginning with just 2 SKUs, and it made it a lot more manageable for me to grow and to upscale in that way and to get my feet wet. So even if you have just one product that you're offering, I say go for it. Farmers markets are great. That is another thing I'm going to be diving into in the Tennessee area to just really connect more in my community is farmers markets and just being a part of them and being more active in the community. I'm a part of the local chamber of commerce as well. So it's just been really important for me to get my name out there because I essentially started completely over from scratch with my business and growing the name for it in a new state and town. And so by being a part of the chamber and being a part of farmers markets and connecting with people in the community has really helped me get things up and going again here.
That's so great. Well, I know it's really hard to do that. So congratulations on starting again in a new place and not giving up on your dream, because I know it's something that's important to you. One of the things that I really love about what you do is that you care about people's dietary needs and restrictions, and you care so much about sourcing, and you provide something that essentially in your area it doesn't exist at all without you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so good job providing that for
you know
your
what?
community.
I had a paleo almond scone in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. But it had cheese in it. But it was so good. It had chopped up green onions and cheese and almond flour and probably eggs. It was good, savory.
I love that more people are doing more paleo options too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's really nice.
I liked it.
Well, we always like to ask what you need from your community. So that can be your community there or just the food community in general. What do you need from all of us?
Just your support, jumping on. I'm more active on Instagram than I am on Facebook. But just jumping on, following me on Instagram. Any fun ideas that you might have, I'm open to sharing them. Giving the baking mixes a chance and trying them out. I would love to have Blondies in your home So if you could just support me in that way, I would be so grateful. I'm a one-woman show, so all of the support I can get, I am incredibly grateful for.
Well, I'm glad even though you moved quite a few states away, we can still be connected and we can still follow your journey. So thanks for coming back on the show and being part of what we do as well.
Thank you so much. This has been such a treat to reconnect with y'all again.
Thanks, Donna.
We record Missoni and Marshall live every week. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform like iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you to our audio engineer, Lon, and our production assistant, Chelsea. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can DM us on our Instagram, Missoni and Marshall, the Meaningful Marketplace. Until next week, we'll be back, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
You're listening to the Startup Radio Network. Listen, learn, launch. 10% of our gross revenue goes directly to women entrepreneurs in developing countries around the world through Kiva's microfinance program.